Hi friends, thanks for being here. It's the tutorial for the Memorydex box, and we're going to make the box, line the box, and put in our railings with this free cut file that's available at my website. The free cut files, there's a link at the top of my header. The first thing we're going to do is cut out the patterns for the chipboard. Now if you have a Cameo 4, you can probably cut your chipboard right on your Cameo 4, but I still have the 3, and so I just cut out the pieces from the cut file to use as a pattern and trace them on a piece of chipboard. And this chipboard I get for free with my scrapbook.com orders. Thanks for including that, scrapbook.com. It always keeps the papers nice and unfolded till they get to your address. And it's easy to cut on just a regular trimmer too, so I like that. So that's the bottom of the box. This box, when it's finished, it's 5 by 6 in measurement, and the cards that I will be designing each week for the next 10 weeks will also be a free cut file at my website, and I'll share that information on Instagram. And so when I put the box together, I put the sides on top of the box bottom, the long sides, and the ends of the box, I've designed it so that they're along the edge of the bottom. Does that make sense for you? So the long sides, you build it so the cardboard or chipboard is on top of the bottom. You'll see as we go along. So I'm using just regular paper tape. What do you call it? Oh yes, masking tape. And it's not super sticky if you've ever used it, but that's okay. It's going to do the job of just allowing the box to be put together into a standing position, and then it's going to be actually all held together by the cover and some double-sided tape. So you'll see that as we go along. So just little pieces to hold the sides closed, and you'll see that it's hard to stick on the end there, but again, that's okay. It's just sort of a temporary tape to put the box together so that we can cover it with paper. And if you have other tape, I mean, maybe you could even use washi tape because it's kind of similar type of stickiness, maybe a little less so. So here comes the double tape. I'm going to go all the way around the bottom of the box, and that covers the paper tape or masking tape that you used just to get it standing. And so you put that all the way around the bottom, burnish it on with your fingers, and then once you've got that on, go around it again with another row of paper tape, masking tape. And that covers up the double tape, and the double-sided tape is going to hold your box together nicely. So we're going to go around the bottom, and then we're going to make 3 rows of double-sided tape across the bottom, and then 2 rows lengthwise. And you'll see me go along with it. So I don't do any measuring. I just put it where I think it's needed, both ends and one in the middle, and then again lengthwise as well. So at either side, and I didn't make you watch the whole thing. So now I'm tearing off the temporary tapes that held the sides together, and I'm going to go around the top with my double-sided tape, just burnishing it on with my fingers as I go along, and making sure that it's stuck to the chipboard well before we put on the masking tape to cover it. So these are all products or supplies that you probably have at home, if not already in your craft room. The masking tape, if you don't have it, it's probably 50 cents at the dollar store or a hardware store in your community. So I've gone around the top, and now I'm going to go around the bottom one more time just to make sure that the end pieces that came around to the sides are covered up nicely too. The thing about the masking tape is it's so flat and so thin, you won't see it at all when you cover the box with your designer paper of choice. So there we go. You've built a box if you're following along, and this took me probably about 40 minutes. So I've gone and used the free cut file to cut out my designer paper that's going to cover the outside of the box. And the perforations are only around the bottom of the box. There are little tabs on the top of the cut file as you go around the box that you just fold in with your fingers. And I've done it that way because you know, we're not machines and these are handmade, and so it allows the variances, the slight variances when you make a box. It allows for those, and the perforations you would have had to make it exactly, and that's pretty hard to do. I mean, this is my second one, and it might just be slightly different than my first one. So tape all the sides and burnish them with your finger, or use a bone folder to get that paper around the box you just built. And the sides fold in, and I was actually quite pleased with how they meet up perfectly in the corners. So now I'm just burnishing with my fingers and using liquid glue to fold over those top tabs. And this was just so the top edge is not left raw and gives a nice finish to your Memorydex box, because you're going to be lining the inside again with pieces you cut from the cut file. And I just think it looks nicer when the edges have paper folded over them. It would be kind of cute to do some sewing on the paper before you cover the box, but I didn't. Lining the inside of the box, unfortunately, my camera didn't turn on, so this is all I got. But the pieces are in the cut file. Very easy to do. Just go around the edges. I started in a corner with the long pieces, and I used the sticky thumbs glue again. So I've gone and cut out the railings that hold the straws, and you'll see when you cut them out that the holes are not in the middle. They're closer to one edge than the other, and you want the short edge facing the bottom of the box, because the straws are closer to the bottom of the box. They're not in the middle, if that makes sense. So this is the product I used to make the inside rails. I used it because it's white, and I thought that would look nicer than raw chipboard. And I get it at scrapbook.com. So I've traced my cut file pieces onto the white chipboard, and it cuts super easy with your regular paper trimmer, which I also like. If you get any messy edges, I just use my sanding block. So I'm going to use my liquid glue to attach the cut file pieces, the pattern paper, onto my white chipboard, and then we'll put them in place inside the box. The holes are the exact size of just a regular office hole punch, and then the straws fit perfectly in those holes. So punch the holes and then we're actually going to measure the paper straws before you do this, which I didn't, and I went, oh, these are way too long. So I just mark them with a pencil, and it might take a couple of trims to get them exactly right. I just trimmed itty bitty whisker size bits off until they fit. I mean, it's easier to continue trimming rather than you can't put it back if you've cut it too short. So those are now the perfect size. Place them on your railing, and I use sticky thumbs tape to put the railings in place inside the box, making sure that the holes are closer to the bottom of the box. So you've set it in there, push the railings towards the edge, and then use your burnishing tool. I have a silicone bone folder, and there you go. That's the inside of your Memorydex box. Now, I've included a free bow cut file at my website. I cut it out twice so that the inside could be pink as well. And instead of using the regular part of the bow underneath the bow, I've made tassels. I do have a link to another video where I show making a tassel, but I'm just going to show you how I've attached them under the bow. I'm using some gold thread and just a regular sewing needle, and you tie a knot in about a 6-inch length and go up through the middle of your tassel until the knot stops, and then I wanted the top of the tassel to look finished. So I'm just putting a regular piece of sequins on there, and I'll tie a knot against the sequins to help it stay in place. Easy breezy. I slowed down this part of the video just so you could see how I tie the tassels on. I thought they were kind of a cute idea instead of just a regular bow. And I love this green minty gingham paper too. I've used an older collection by Pebbles called Garden Party, and it's got peaches, pinks, mints, all the colors that I like to design with at this time of year. So I'm just placing my tassels in the center of the end of the box, and then my bow is going to go over top. I've lined the top of my bow, the top center of my bow, I should say, with the top of the box. So just trim your strings, and I'm using double-sided sticky tape and reinforcing it with some liquid glue. So it is never going to move or come off. And I just really like how these papers all coordinate together. I just made sure that my bow was in the middle of the 2 straws. So here's some puffy stickers I have from a really cute Dear Lizzie collection, and I'm going to stick a camper there because it's the perfect colors to coordinate with this Pebbles paper. So thanks so much for joining me. If you have any questions at all, please leave them in comments below, and just going to pop in a card that I've finished. And this card cut file will be on my website tomorrow, and I haven't filmed it because it's pretty straightforward. But if you do make the Memorydex box or the cards as we go along, hopefully you'll share them on Instagram and tag me so I can see them too. Thanks so much. See you soon.